YouTuber so hard. And I said, oh, I can make that. Oh my gosh, I didn't pull down my most exciting piece of crochet. A little commotion for the Crocs, please.
Love yours. No such thing. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. No such thing. Love yours. Love yours.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Kevon's Life. I'm Kevon, and here on this channel I talk a little bit about my life, a lot about my hobbies, and navigating life in my 30s. As you can tell by the title of this video, it is my 1-year crochet anniversary. That is crazy to say. I learned how to crochet at the top of the year in 2024, like at the end of the month in January. Here we are again at the end of the month in January 2025. I'm excited to share about most of the things I've made this year and share a little bit about the tips and lessons I've learned along my crochet journey so far. So if you are a beginner crocheter, or if you are somebody who has been feeling inspired to learn how to crochet, I hope this video is helpful for you. And bonus points if you're a black woman, and bonus points if you're living in a plus size body. So I hope this video is helpful for you as you begin or even continue your crochet journey. So a little bit of context about me and how I learned how to crochet. Like a lot of new crocheters, I have learned so much from the world of the Clock app, and that was pretty much where I started first. I was living in Houston when I learned how to crochet, and so was able to find a crochet group full of young people who were passionate about the fiber arts like knitting and crochet. And so I went to my first meetup there, had like kind of started working on a granny square by myself, but just wasn't picking it up through TikTok and through YouTube by myself. And so I went to this group. They immediately talked me through how to start a granny square, and then I went home and I practiced that granny square. And after I went home, after I had met up with this group and I went home by myself, the TikTok videos made a lot more sense. And so I'm super thankful for that group being there for me to come and be in community with people who know how to knit and crochet in order to kind of jumpstart my process. I would say that I learned how to crochet in a group first, and then use what I learned there to help kind of make sense of the videos that I was watching on TikTok and YouTube. So for this video, I have written out all the things that I've made over the year. I've categorized them by month. So I'm going to take you through my whole 2024 year and share a little bit about the things that I made and throw in what I learned along the way. So let's start with January. January, like I said, I started to learn in January. This was pretty much like right at the end of January when I discovered this crochet group. So I pretty much made nothing but granny squares the end of January and mostly February. So I was really focused on just getting comfortable with making a granny square, being consistent with how I made the granny square. There were some days I would make a granny square and do it perfectly, and then there were other days when I would act like I really had no clue what I was doing and have to like watch a TikTok video step by step, even though I had probably made 5 granny squares before that. So I was just getting comfortable with making a granny square, getting comfortable with my tension at that point, getting comfortable just like holding the yarn and holding the hook in a way that felt comfortable to me. Because as you are starting out and like as you watch people crochet, you can see that everybody holds their hook differently, and so you just kind of have to find what works for you. So that is what I was focused on in January, was figuring out how I like to hold the hook, how I like to have the yarn in my hand, and what my tension was like. For January and most of February, I was just cranking out granny squares, and I decided, I made so many granny squares that I was like, okay, well, what am I gonna do with it? So I decided to make a tote bag, which never got finished. So this is still a whip, but I did put the granny squares together and I made this humongous tote bag, and she's cute. She's really cute. So these are all my granny squares. If you look closely, you'll probably see that some are a hot mess and some probably look better than others. Yeah, these are all of the granny squares that I made. I think I ended up having to make like 27 for this tote bag. So made these, sewed them all together, and I did start a strap I just never got around to finishing the other strap. So I'm so close. I really need to go back and finish this project because this tote bag is so cute. It's super heavy duty. So I like this tote bag a lot. For this to be my first project, I think it looks really, really good. I'm actually like really impressed. Really impressed. So yeah, girl, I made a tote bag with all the granny squares that I made. That was my, I would say like my first project, first thing that I made in January. For February, like I said, I was still making granny squares for that crochet tote bag, and then I also made a very quick little bookmark. I'll pop up a picture somewhere. I just made a quick little bookmark using a TikTok tutorial. So that was like a 20-minute project. After that, sometime in February, I tried my hand at my first ruffle hat. So this hat here, y'all, I be claiming that I'm finished with projects and still have ends to weave in. So yeah, and I wear this hat, which is crazy. I really need to take some time to weave in the end. But this was my first ruffle hat. As you can tell, I don't know, I feel like it's more pointy than the ruffle hats that I've been making lately. And so when I put this on, it's definitely super pointy at the top, but for my first ruffle hat, it's not too bad, and it's super cute. I didn't want like a lot of ruffles, so this has a very subtle ruffle. I love it so much. It's very cute. So this is what I made in February. Also in February, I started the Peekaboo top by Passionate Kelsey. And let me be clear and say that I started it because I was so new to crochet at this point. I had no clue what I was doing. I had frogged this project so many times in February. I was just like having the hardest time keeping my rows straight. They would like start to increase or start to decrease, and it just wasn't working. And so I started in February and I gave up in February. And so I put that project down and did not touch it for a few more months. So I'm gonna leave that there and we'll circle back to the Peekaboo top in a few months. For March, I'm looking at my list. I don't think I made too much. I don't know what I was doing. I'm not sure what was going on, but I just didn't make that much. So I ended up making 2 hats. I have one in person, but I'll tell you why. So I ended up making 2 hats and I ended up giving both of them away. So I made this really cute pink and green like granny square ruffle hat. I followed a TikTok tutorial. I think it's about time for me to go back and look at that tutorial again, because when I first followed it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I kept frogging that project over and over and over again, but I ended up finishing it. So it obviously wasn't super duper hard because I was still very much like super new to crochet at that point, and I figured it out. But I would like to see like what my experience would be like if I were to try it again today. So I made this hat, pink and green, super cute. I gave it away to this Neo, aka I thought the hat would be perfect for her, so I gave it away. And then the second hat that I made, my friend was like, can you make me a hat? And I was like, wow, y'all really be having a whole lot of faith in me. I learned how to crochet 2 seconds ago. So I made a hat, and she like didn't have any really like big qualifications for it. She was like, I want it to be summery. And so I was like, cool, bet. So I made a hat. I followed AC Crochet's YouTube tutorial for this hat, and I loved her hat so much that I made one for myself exactly the same because the colors just ate down. So this is the hat that I made for my friend that I gave away, and then I couldn't get the hat out of my head, and I was like, oh, I need one for myself. So I made this hat for my friend in March, but then I'm going to show you this hat again because I made it again in like May. Super cute, very simple and clear tutorial by AC Crochets here on YouTube. Okay, now April is where your girl gets busy because I had a trip coming up in May, and I really wanted to make a whole lot of stuff for this trip. So I was busting out projects, getting it done. I really thrive under pressure. So let me tell you guys what I made in April. Okay, and the first one I'm looking at on my list is this granny square tote bag by Realm Designs. I didn't look at a tutorial. I'm not even sure if she has one, but the design is super straightforward. All it is 3 large granny squares, as big as you want them to be for your tote bag, and then you like single crochet for the strap. And so super easy. I just wanted to make that cute little colorful bag. I forgot to pull it out for this video, but it's somewhere. But there is the bag. Super cute, super easy. Again in April, like I said, I was going on a trip in May, so I was making a whole lot of bucket hats. I made this bucket hat, which I'd be calling like my SpongeBob SquarePants bucket hat because I feel like it looks like the flowers. So I made this bucket hat for my cruise, and then I made this bucket hat also. Oh, and if you want to see what I actually made for my cruise, you can have a video specifically about everything that I crochet for my cruise. I'll link it. But so you're getting kind of like double time here. But I also made a bandana for the cruise. I made 2 bandanas. Both of them are in my mama's possession. This one is the small bandana that I had made that I ended up not liking because it just was too small. So I made another one that was bigger, and then I made another bandana. So watch that video. It'll tell you like a lot more detail what I made for the cruise. Next up in April, I made a bag. And this is the bag actually. So I made this bag. Strap is from Target, and all the hardware and stuff is from Amazon and Joann's. But I made this bag using t-shirt yarn, and I followed Knit-Kaz's tutorial here on YouTube. Disclaimer, Knit-Kaz tutorial is not in English. She's speaking in her native language, but there are English subtitles. So if you are a newbie crocheter, don't be discouraged, because I am also a newbie crocheter and I made this bag. So her tutorial, you will need to pause and stop and probably slow it down a little bit for yourself, but you can definitely get it done. Look at this bag, and I will say, like, it's not terrible. It could be better for sure, but it's not too bad for my first try. I liked this so much that my granny asked me to make her one, so I made another one. So I made 2 of these this year. And now we get to circle back to Passionate Kelsey's peekaboo top tutorial. Like I said, I really was trying to make some stuff for my cruise, so I decided to try my hand again at the peekaboo top by Passionate Kelsey in April. So I was successful. I did get the top done, ladies and gentlemen. She did get the top done, and she's very cute. She's real cute. She's real sexy. I will say the whole back is out though. So as a plus size person, definitely feel like a little bit more self-conscious in this top, but I'm so proud of it. I'm happy that I like continued to try it again and go for it. One thing that I've learned on this crochet journey is that as I am making crochet wearables for myself, modifications are super important based on my needs as a plus size person. I do try to look for patterns that are inclusive and that go past like a 2XL. I could be a 2XL, but I also want to see like if you even considered having a 4X or a 5XL, just out of curiosity when I purchase patterns. And so in this pattern specifically, Kelsey recommends like some modifications if you want the width of the top to be longer. Like if you don't want this to be a crop top and you want it to go down a little bit farther, what should you do? Or if you want this piece, the side panel, to go a little bit like further, like for me to pull in this back fat, yeah, like that side fat, I made my piece a little bit longer. So she does mention some modifications that you can do there. And then for the straps, the recommended chain that she said for this strap, not long enough for me because I'm team big back. So I did learn how to make modifications throughout this crochet process and throughout the other wearables that I made this year. For this one, this was my first wearable, and so I did use a chain, and all she did was like a regular chain. I was like, oh no babe, like this is not going to work for my plus size body. That's not enough to hold me in. This just isn't enough. And so instead of just having a chain for myself, I think I ended up doing a single crochet back down to make it a little bit stronger. And then I took it to the crochet group, and we were talking about like other methods that might create like a stronger tie. And I learned how to make an I-cord a little bit later down the line that we can talk about. But an I-cord stretches in a different way so that you don't run into the risk of like your yarn stretching wrong way, stretching this way instead of it stretches by the width, which is best for like, you know, just holding people in. If you're looking for, what's the word, like more security in your straps and stuff as a plus size person. So first top that I made using Passionate Kelsey's tutorial, I made this in April. And also in April and in May, I was making a ton more granny squares because I got it in my mind that I wanted to make this 2-piece set that I saw on Pinterest. I thought this set was so cute. So I was like, oh, okay, I need to make granny squares. And me living in a plus size body, I was like, baby, I need a lot of granny squares. And so I was just focused on the color scheme that I wanted to do and all the granny squares that I needed to make. And so I finally finished up all the granny squares in April and in May, and then I put the skirt together. And so in May I made the granny square skirt. So in May I made the granny square skirt, which turned out super cute. I'm very happy with this. I had a hard time finding a pattern for it, so I consider this to be pretty much free-handed. Like, duh, you put the granny squares together, but I was really looking for a pattern that was going to help me have like that was going to help me do a cinched in waist, so that my skirt could kind of lean more towards like a fit and flare or a skater style skirt, because I just knew that for my shape, I'm an apple shape, and I just know that like straight A-line skirts don't really do that well on my body. And so I was looking for something that would give me a little bit of flare or be able to like take the waist in. And so I didn't find anything. So I just kind of like did what I thought was best. And so I just made like decreases at regular intervals to try to like bring the skirt in a little bit. And then I also made a very simple little chain tie just to reinforce it and pull it as tight as I needed it to. Especially since really I kind of made the skirt a little bit too big. Oh my gosh, I didn't pull down my most exciting piece of crochet. I gotta get up. Being a YouTuber is so hard. Okay, so for June and May, I'm having a hard time about when I should be sharing what I made, because some of these like overlap. But I guess I'm talking about when I actually completed it. So for June, I completed this corset top that I saw on Pinterest. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I talked about this top before, but if you're new here, I saw this top on Pinterest and I wanted to make it for my cousin's birthday celebration because she had this whole like very cute color scheme for us, and I was like, okay, bet, I'm gonna make this top. So I started it in May and I made this top. I freehanded it because the creator who I saw on Pinterest, Dose of Diallo, I think is her name, I didn't find a pattern from her or anything. So I just was like zooming in, trying to figure out what my girl did to make this top. And so I will say that is one of the coolest things that I've done. I'm trying to make sure I remind myself of that as I go through this crochet journey. And as you're like, so you tend to like focus on, okay, I gotta learn this next, I gotta do this next. I don't do very good at sitting in what I've accomplished, and the fact that I have been freehanding a few projects in my first year of crochet is crazy and is a very big accomplishment. So as you are going through your crochet journey, pat yourself on the back, girl. Okay, pat yourself on the back. Yes, I made that crochet top. I learned a lot from that top. I made it too big. Number one, I've been like a lot of my wearables, I've been making it way too big. So so when I actually wore that top, it was miserable because it was too big. It was falling off my body. And I also learned that I need to start taking my measurements. Like, I just be going with the flow, testing, putting it on, wrapping it around my body and saying, cool, that works. But take your measurements, girl. Take your measurements. And then you won't be looking like a fool. If you are somebody who is wanting to crochet any type of wearable, make sure you get comfortable with your body, with taking measurements on your body, and then take away a few inches as you start to make your projects, because you do not actually need to make your project to the inches that your body is, because your project will stretch. So that's what I learned from that project. I also learned that I am very particular about the cotton yarn that I use. I am in the camp that I like Lily Sugar and Cream because it is so stiff. There's a whole lot of y'all out there who don't like Lily's Sugar and Cream or whatever it's called because it's so stiff. Me, I appreciate it because in my plus size body, that extra structure, that extra stiffness, I love it, because then I know that like my clothes aren't going to stretch too bad and they're going to hold me in. So I appreciate that a lot. I really like it. I want to circle back to the I-cord. So for this crochet corset, I knitted an I-cord for the strap. And like I was getting at earlier, the way that the I-cord stretches, it doesn't stretch like by the length. It won't get longer, but it will stretch out by the width. And so like as you're tying things, you know that your strap or your tie is not going to get looser over time. It's actually going to be stretching the other way, which is helpful when you think about just trying to like keep yourself in your garments and stuff as a plus size person. And then like I said, my granny was so cute. She commented on one of my YouTube videos and was like, I like that black purse, girl, hint hint. And I was like, bet. let me make you one. So I made my granny a purse and gave it to her for Mother's Day. Well, actually I gave it to her for her birthday, but I gave it to her. I made it in June, gave it to her in June because I knew I was going to be going home to give it to her. So I made another purse just like that black one that I showed y'all earlier. Okay, for July, I made my most prized possession. I'm so excited. I have a whole separate video on these on my channel also, but I made some crochet croc covers. A little commotion for the Crocs, please. Yeah, these shoes are my favorite shoes ever, and I barely wear them because I just don't want them to get old because I'm in love with them so much. So I really want to make myself another pair of these. I used Mama Stitch's crochet pattern. I purchased it from her, and then she is great. She has posted so many tutorials on her YouTube channel about like how to sew the patches on, just all the things that you might have questions about as you're making these crochet croc covers. She has thought about it and she has put it on her YouTube channel for viewers and the folks who have purchased her pattern. So just shout out to her. I really appreciated her pattern. She linked a ton of YouTube videos on like appliques, and if you don't like the ones that she was showing how to make in her pattern, she was linking other ones. And then of course, like common sense would tell you, okay, there's appliques out there. It opened my world up to, it opened up my mind to the world of crochet appliques. I just never would have thought to look for those things. And so like I said, I'm super excited about these crochet crocs and I can't wait to make another pair. I will say that pattern feels a little bit more intermediate, but certainly doable. And then in July, I also got around to making the top for that two-piece set that I wanted to make. So the skirt, we made the skirt back in May, finished it, but I never got around to making the top. And so in July, I made the top, and I used Anne, oh gosh, I'm gonna put her ad name down below on the screen, but I used her tutorial, and this was pretty simple. I definitely messed up here. I tried it on and my mom was like, something's off, and I still can't see what's off, but I trust her. So I think somehow on one of these boob cups I miscounted the rows and I'm missing a row in one of these, so it looks a little crazy, and so I haven't had the nerve to wear it out in public. Also, going back to the fact that I crochet my wearables too big, it's a little too big still. I'm super proud of the straps. The straps are super cute and unique. It took me a minute to figure out how to make these straps because going back to modifications for plus size bodies, her tutorial gave up to like an extra large or something like that, but the extra large just was not enough, and so I had to do a lot of math to figure out how to get this strap to do what I needed it to do as far as like the pattern, like the scalloping or whatever the heck is going on here. I had to figure that out because there was like a lot of decreases and half double crochets and single crochets and stuff along the strap. It was really, really complex, and so it took me a long time to figure it out. I should have took better notes, but oh well, it's done now. The strap is super cute. I love it a lot. I just haven't worn it because the boob cups are a little off. So yeah, I don't know if this outfit will ever see the light of day, but I did work on this top. For August is where it picks up, y'all. I made a whole lot of stuff towards the end of this year, mainly the crochet baseball caps. I made a whole lot of bucket hats and some cat ear beanies, so let's walk through it real fast. I made, which I don't know where it is, I'll pop up a picture, but I made a crochet baseball cap, and I'm so excited about these. I'm actually going to a sewing class so I can figure out how to sew patches onto these baseball caps because I really want to sell them, but I want to put patches on them and make them super unique, and so I need to figure out how to do that. I digress, but I made this very cute baseball cap. Love it down, love it down. So that's what I made in August. I made 2 of those, and then I made a whole lot of bucket hats. I made 2 that I ended up selling, so I'll post those pictures here. I made 2 bucket hats and I made them for a man, and so this was my first time kind of having to adjust the bucket hat pattern or even like do a little math and figure out and make sure that it fits his head, and I actually found out that they were a little bit too big. So yeah, that was nice to learn about like how to adjust a pattern, or even just looking for men who crochet bucket hats out there in the world. I really appreciated watching some men crochet here on YouTube as I figured out how to make these bucket hats. So those hats are now in Cincinnati, Ohio, but I'm very proud of them. I was also commissioned by my cousin. Shout out to the people in your community who believe in you, okay? Let me just say that. I feel like since I'm in the beginning of my journey, I just appreciate people believing in me. And so if me making a hat and giving it away for free allows me to get the practice that I need, or I like found enjoyment in making it for you and giving it away, because gift giving is also my love language, I don't mind to do that. And there's not a whole lot of people who are texting me, so I just appreciate the people who believe in me and will take like my work when it's not even great, and then 5 years from now we can look back and be like, wow, that hat was trash, but you believed in me. So that is that's my spiel on that. But saying all that to say, my cousin asked me to make some baby hats for a little baby who is coming in October. And so my cousin is no good in that she's like, do your thing, I don't have any thoughts. I figured out what I wanted to do and she's like, yeah, that looks great. So I ended up making 3 hats. I'll pop them up to the side because I don't have them in my possession, but I made 2 little baby bear ear, like baby cub ear hats for this baby. And then I tried something new. I purchased this pattern. Maybe this pattern kicked my behind. It was the first time I had ever done like front loop, back loops, and all kinds of stuff to make this like weavy looking pattern. That took a lot, but I got it done. But yeah, that hat, I know it's not my best work because I could look and just see the errors that I made. Because yeah, that was maybe not a beginner friendly pattern, but it's possible. Okay, September and October feels like a blur. I was making a whole lot of stuff because I had this really elaborate plan in my head, and so I was making a whole lot of bucket hats. Let me show you. This is everything I made pretty much between the months of September and October, and just about everything is a bucket hat or a cat ear beanie of some sort. So let's see how many I made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, I made 22 hats, and actually here's the stuff that I was looking for. So here is the crochet baseball cap that I made. This one is mine. Shout out to my sorors. Shout out to my numbers out there. Super cute. I sewed this patch on. Yeah, Matt, I'm very proud of this hat. So I got it in my head that I wanted to make more of that. And then I also made Greek inspired bucket hats for the girls out there. Shout out to all my sister Greeks. So I made bucket hats for anybody who wants to buy them. And I'm super proud of these because another skill that I learned is what do you call it, like not tapestry crochet. Is it tapestry crochet? I don't know, but it's the kind where you use the grid on stitch fiddle and you can like map out what you want and then you crochet it. So learned how to do this in September and October, and I'm very proud that I learned how to do it, and the hats came out wonderfully. And for anybody who might be wondering where 1922 is, shout out to my family. She bought it. Okay, she shopped local, she shopped black, and she picked up a hat for me. So I don't have 1922 in my possession anymore, but I did make one for y'all. So yeah, I made a whole lot of hats, a whole lot of bucket hats. I was just in my bag, okay, making checker bucket hats. I also learned how to make checker bucket hats. So yeah, I was just in my bucket hat bag, y'all. I was in my granny square cat ear beanie bag. I love this hat down. This color, this is one skein of yarn from Hobby Lobby. This is the I Love This yarn. I don't remember what it is. I don't know if it's the denim one or not, but yeah, look at the colors. Yes, just making hats. And then I made another bear ear beanie. This one is for me. So yeah, look at me, still not weaving in ends. Anyway, so yeah, I was just making hats, y'all. What else? In addition to all those hats, I also made these handbags. I made a total of 3. I have a red one somewhere. I just couldn't find it for this video, but I made a total of 3 of these handbags. I'm in love with these purses, y'all. They eat down real bad. So I have a red one. The red one really eats. So I made 3 of these between September and October. Like I said, it was all a blur. So yeah. And then what else? At some point I was in the planning phase for my mama's Christmas gifts, and so I made her a very cute plant themed bookmark. I don't even think I took any pictures, y'all, so I will take a picture of it and put it here to the side, but I made her a plant themed bookmark. I made some home decor. So I made this cute little tchotchke bowl for our keys. This was super easy to make. If I can find the tutorial, I will link it down below. But I use t-shirt yarn that I purchased from Amazon because I wanted like a nice regular homey color. I have a YouTube short if you want to go check it out. But yeah, I made this little bowl and I'm in love with it. At first I was like, this is ugly, this is hideous, and then I let it sit for a few days. I was like, okay, that's not too bad. So it grew on me. I think it looks like a bowl. It does its job. We use it every day. So yeah, I'm very excited about this functional item. Personally, I love a good functional item. In November, I did not make too much, y'all. I was really wanting to make one of those hand knit chunky cardigans, and so that's exactly what I did for pretty much all of November. I know for a fact that I started it on election night because I needed to decompress and, you know, take care of myself. So I started it on election night, like November 6th, November 5th, something like that. And then it gave me a lot of trouble. I frogged that project twice, I think. And so I didn't actually finish it until the end of November. But I made the big old viral chunky cardigan. I have a separate video all about that. It's not a tutorial, but it is just talking a little bit about my experience, and you can watch me go through the process myself. You can also find out whose tutorials I used as resources for making my cardigan. But yeah, I made that cardigan in November. It's super cute, super cozy, very heavy. That brings us to December. And I had a very big trip coming up in December. I was going to Ghana the day after Christmas, and I had it in my head that there was a whole lot of stuff that I wanted to make for Ghana. I wanted to make another one of those crochet corset tops. And then like 2 weeks before I was supposed to leave for Ghana, actually less than that, I probably said like 10 days before I was supposed to leave to Ghana, I saw this woman on Instagram post this beautiful top that looked crocheted, and I said, oh, I can make that. And so I got it in my head that I wanted to make one of those, and so I did. So I'll show you guys that. And then what else? I made something really cool. I made a cool gift for my mom, and then I made a book sleeve. So let's just jump right in. So I wanted to make another crochet corset, just like the orange one that I made earlier in the year. I wanted to try my hand at it again and improve it, right? So I knew that I needed to make it a lot smaller, and then I just wanted to like improve on my stitching and all that good stuff, because there were a few things that was wrong with the orange corset top. So I just recreated this. I did most things the same. I made an I-cord again for the strap. I used the cotton yarn that I prefer to use, the Lily Sugar and Cream, because for that orange top I didn't use the Lily Sugar and Cream. I used a different cotton yarn. So I used the cotton yarn that I know I like, and this one was a lot better. I wore this out in Ghana with no problems. She was great. And for the top that I saw on Instagram was pretty much like a shrug, and it was just a large mesh shrug. And so I made mine out of t-shirt yarn because from the pictures it looked like that person's shrug was also out of like a super thick material. Here is another crochet tip that I learned. If you don't understand a pattern, put the pattern into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to rewrite the pattern in a way that makes sense. So if you prefer to read bullet points, quick one-liners, ask ChatGPT to set up the pattern in that way for you. And so I was looking at this pattern and I was like, ChatGPT, this isn't making sense. This line right here, this pattern does not make sense to me. Rewrite it in a way that I will understand it. So after ChatGPT and I went back and forth about this pattern, we finally got it to a space where I could understand what needed to be done. And so, but I can't plug the pattern that I purchased because I think it sucked. So yeah, but I ended up making this cute top, and I haven't worn it yet. I did not end up wearing it in Ghana, but I'm going on a trip very soon, so I'm hoping to wear it there, and hopefully I can get some good pictures to come back and show y'all this top in action. Then I made a crochet book sleeve. I wanted to make the book themed, book inspired granny squares, and so each of these granny squares that you see here is one of my favorite books of all time. So very quickly I can tell you like what some of these are. This book is Sugar by Bernice L. McFadden. This is Demon's Dream by Elle Kaysen. This is a book called Black Enough. This is Passing by Nella Larson. This is The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. This is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois. So Yes, all my favorite books in a book sleeve. And the irony of this whole thing is that I have a book in here that I haven't finished. Shout out to Toni Morrison. I love her down. But anyway, yeah, I love Toni Morrison. I just haven't finished Beloved. So yeah, look at me. I'm very early on too. Yeah, Toni Morrison is one of those you gotta read and then digest with somebody else and talk it through. And so Beloved, I just haven't gotten through. I made a book sleeve in December also. And last but not least, I made this is one of my mom's Christmas gifts, and I made her a Kindle sleeve. My mom is a plant girly, and so she loves monsteras. We had a really big monstera like a year ago, and so I thought that was super cute. So she just puts her Kindle in here, and this was a super quick, easy project to work up. I learned how to make these monstera plants, so that was something new that I learned this year. I just used a very quick tutorial. I will link it down below for anybody who might be interested. But I made some of these and then I just sewed them onto the Kindle sleeve, onto the crocheted sleeve. So super quick, super easy project. Highly recommend if you are a new crocheter. That pretty much wraps up everything that I've crocheted this year in my first year of crochet. And I wanted to show you guys the crochet kit that I built for myself. I discovered that I of course want to take my projects out. There's like always something for me to be crocheting, and so I have created a crochet kit for myself that holds all my necessary crochet hooks, darning needles, a pair of scissors, always a measuring tape. So let me just show you guys the crochet kit that I pretty much carry around with me every single day. Here's my crochet kit. I believe I picked up this little case from Michael's probably, but it just holds all of my crochet necessities or essentials. So I take this kit with me everywhere. This kit can go through TSA. The scissors can go through TSA. I think they just have to be like a certain length, and these meet the length requirements. And so they come with a little case because these scissors are sharp, y'all. So I picked these scissors up in a 2-pack from Amazon. Shout out to Cider. I ordered some clothes and they sent me a measuring tape, and this has been perfect to live in my crochet kit. Stitch markers always. So these stitch markers live in my crochet kit. I picked these up from Amazon also. And then my darning needle case has all of my darning needles. I have 2 of these. This one lives in the kit, and I have another one that lives in this little storage container. This storage container right here. Just a bunch of crochet hooks. And for my girlies that know, this is funny because I have 2 size 5 needles, 2 size 5 hooks in here. I have some bigger hooks, and then I have some smaller hooks. So yeah, and then I also have my I-cord knitting needles in here. So this is my crochet kit. This pretty much, like I said, goes just about everywhere with me. I can throw it in my purse, throw it in my bag, and then throw my project in, and then I've got everything I need to keep working on whatever I'm working on. So love this little kit. If you are thinking about crochet, or if you have been crocheting for a while, highly recommend creating yourself a little kit. I would love to know what you have in your kit. If you do have one, let me know down below. Maybe there's something that I'm missing from here that I should consider adding. Before we wrap up this video, I wanted to show you guys what I've been working on at the start of this year. It's currently the end of January at the time that I'm filming this video. I have completed 2 projects. I guess this counts as my January 2025 what I crocheted, but I finally found a tutorial that I liked. I will link this creator's information on the screen because I followed her shorts tutorial. Shout out to her because she made a quick, straight to the point tutorial, and I love it. So I followed her tutorial for the ruffle socks, and I made some ruffle socks, and these socks are so cute, y'all. I am actually obsessed, and so I do want to make another pair because I very quickly saw like some room for improvement. So I want to try my hand at these again. They work up relatively quickly. I did like the base, the foot in I'd say like an hour, and then the ruffles of course take a little while, but you could definitely do this project over the span of like 1 to 2 days and knock it out. And then I also got inspiration from a creator on the Clock app. I think her name is Jazz. She had some leftover granny squares and she made a cute little like mini bag, and I was like, oh, that eats. But I want to use a different type of yarn. So I have a bunch of t-shirt yarn in my house because I love t-shirt yarn, and so I decided to make a granny square mini bag using t-shirt yarn, and this is what I came up with. This project worked up super fast. I think I used a size, maybe like a size 8 hook, and again used t-shirt yarn. And so I made 3 granny squares, and then I just made a baby strap to go with it. This is a piece that still needs to be weaved in, but yeah, made this cute little mini bag. This bag is so cute. I'm going on vacation really soon and I can't wait to style it. That is everything I made so far in January, and that's probably all I'm gonna make in January so far. So we have made it to the end of this video. I'm so excited to have shared everything that I've made with you all along my first year crochet journey. I'm looking forward to what I make next year. I was been watching, like a lot of you guys in the crochet space, you've probably been watching your favorite YouTubers share what they made in the year 2024, and I'm always super impressed at the sheer volume of what people are creating. The fact that people are making like 40 plus items and the items are wearables. Like, how did you crochet and knit 40 sweaters in a year? I just be blown away. And so I think that's so cool, but I also take that as a note for myself that, you know, my journey is my journey. What I made this year is what I made this year, and I don't have to like try to up the ante or anything like that. And the time that I had to dedicate to this craft and to this hobby is the time that I had. Just made a lot of cool things this year. So shout out to me, shout out to you and the projects you've completed this year. As I said earlier, if you are a new crocheter, if you're a beginner crocheter, if you're even just thinking about starting to learn how to crochet, I hope this video inspires you to do so. Go out, grab a crochet hook, grab some yarn, some $2.99 yarn from Joann's store. You probably have yarn laying around your house. I highly recommend just getting started. If you can find a crochet group around your city, in addition to all the social media resources we have available at our fingertips, I hope you go out and try to learn this new hobby and find community, because I have said this many times on my channel before, but I just feel like I love the vibes that the crochet and fiber art community gives. I can just feel it when I'm walking in the aisles at Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby. The girls just talk to each other in the aisles, like, and I love it. I'm excited to welcome you into the community. So if you haven't already, I hope this video inspires you to get started. If you are crocheting, if you're a vet in the game, if you're seasoned, if you're a beginner like myself, let me know down in the comments. What are you working on? What project are you most proud of to date? Let me know down in the comments. Bonus points if there's a tutorial out there. But I'm really excited to hear about what you guys are working on, even just what you love about crochet. And I hope that we can create a community and a connection through our love of fiber arts together here on this channel. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave me love down in the comments. And I will catch y'all in my next video. Bye.